Hey guys, welcome back to the Yarnquisitions Podcast. We do knitting here. Yarnquisitions. Yarn acquisitions, sorry. And whatever fiber arts we're thinking about, planning, that kind of thing. Today's Friday. I am filming on Black Friday. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. My first time baking a pre-made turkey dinner kind of thing. And that was kind of fun. But it was like my first time having like juicy turkey. Like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny because it's the Costco turkey thing that they have in the U.S. I'm not sure if they do it anywhere else because it's just the U.S. that has Thanksgiving that involves turkey, I think, as far as I know. And I am drinking my coffee. But I switched up the coffee brand because the Safeway one is so expensive in this area for some reason. Or my closest Safeway, their like ground is like really expensive compared to their whole beans, and I don't know why, and it's super annoying. So I just bought a different coffee brand. I think it's called, oh shit, there's just so much vowels, I don't remember how to say it. It's like Kauai, I think, because it's like Kauai coffee. And it comes in like a blue bag. And it's a little more bitter than the other one that I have been using. And they're both 10% Hawaiian coffee beans. So, yeah. But this one isn't Kona, and that's why I think the taste is very different, because I think it's on another island or something. I'm not 100% sure on that. But as far as I know, I think it's on another island, and that's why it tastes a little different. And maybe they source their other Arabica beans from somewhere else, because it's 90% not Hawaiian coffee. So maybe that's why they just use something else. And they're both medium roast, so I don't know. Well, that's enough about coffee. We'll get into my finished objects, or FOs. So this one is the one you saw last week. It's the Riverbed sock by Hohi Locatelli. And I did a ton of modifications. If you want to know literally all the modifications, then you can watch the last episode. Yeah, I've done a lot. And I had used a sport weight yarn, but it like knits up like a fingering weight. So yeah. And this is a 100% mohair, what do you call it? Yarn? 100% mohair yarn. That was by Pro Soho. And Pro Soho has like 25% off right now, I think. Don't know when it ends, so yeah. kind of plan on getting some of the yarns. The knitting yarn, it's like merino. Don't know how soft it is, but I think it's a stiffer merino and not like the baby soft merino, so that could be good for like a cardigan or like a sweater. And for the left sock, I just mirrored it, so yeah, this is what it looks like, all done up, or all stretched out. Like this is what it's gonna look like on the foot, I think. Yeah, I just did exactly the same as the right foot, but just mirrored. So I did not follow the pattern for the left foot because it tells you to do exactly the same for like the foot in general, and the heel as well. But I had to finesse it a little bit so that it mirrors and not, and so that this part isn't on the outside. Yeah. And the original has 2 sets of, they call it the lace rib, which is like this thing, but I have 3. So it's the heel, the front of the foot, and then the side of the foot, or the outer side of the foot. So yeah, I'm just being too, what do you call it? I just didn't like that there's so much blank space here, and on fingering weight yarn, that space will look much bigger because the lace detail is smaller because of the yarn I'm using. So that's what happened and why I did it this way. Yeah. And for the heel flap, it's like kind of reinforced because it's like a slip stitch pattern. So then there's like, what do you call it? There's just more yarn here. So hopefully that can take whatever wear and tear, I guess. Take all the wear and tear that I'm probably gonna put it through, especially if I put them in shoes. I think that's what's gonna happen. Although the heel, I'm not sure how that will turn out because I don't know, it just feels much thinner for some reason. Even though it should be the same as this area, right? I don't know. I still haven't washed it, so if I take this off, it just scrunches back. But I had this on the form for like a whole week already, so so yeah, it's like kind of stretched out. But if I wash it, it'll not stretch out again, or it'll contract. Okay, that's enough about the sock. My second FO, like, oh my gosh, I have a second FO. I usually only have like one, but, or like, I think in the summertime I had like one every week or something, or every month. I don't know. Camisoles are just so fast to make sometimes. So this is the Kerr sweater. I don't know if you could see it all. Unfortunately, I couldn't block it in time for today's release day because I finished it last minute and I missed the deadline, the official deadline, by like 2 days. But Rebecca said it was okay to just submit the feedback form on the 23rd, which I think is a Wednesday. So that's the day I finished this, or finished the sleeve on that day. But yeah, both sleeves took me like about a week to make. And I feel so slow compared to everyone else. I don't know. But yeah, I had to so for all the needles, I had to use like 4 sets of different needle sizes because of the color work. And this is my first time working color work, so if you've never done color work before, this is a great beginner project. Because it's my first color work, you know? So for the stitch gauge is 22 stitches, and I tried to meet that for every part. Well, except for the ribbing. I don't know. So for the stockinette part, I used 3.5 millimeter. For the ribbing, I did 3 millimeter for all ribbing, like the body, the sleeves. Did 3 millimeters. So yeah. And then for the color work for the body only, I had to go up to 4 millimeter to meet gauge. And then for the stockinette, you go back to 3.5 because it's stockinette, and then 3 for the bottom. And then for the sleeve, I started with 3.5, and then I knit like a few rows in 4 millimeter, but the gauge was off by 2 stitches. Like I had 2 more stitches, so it was 24 stitches per 10 centimeters. So I had to go up to 4.5, and then I measured it again, and it made gauge. So yeah, so for sleeves, for color work, I think I knit much tighter than if it was like for the body. I think that's true for most people. Just because there's a smaller circumference and there's less room to move around and stuff, and to move your stitches as well. So yeah, 4.5 millimeter, and then go back down to 3.5, and then 3 millimeter for the ribs. Yeah, so it's a lot of switching needles, but because it tapers down quite far, I had to switch from the 16 inch cable to a larger one so that I can do magic loop for the sleeve, because I don't have needles that can accommodate the 3.5 or the stockinette, like this section when you taper it, because there are decreases on the arm, but I do have the right cable to do the cuffs, because my smallest size is, or my smallest cable can accommodate 9.5, I think, centimeters or circumference. So yeah, that's what I use for the rib, and it is quite large. It's not that tapered, so should be roomy. I mean, it fits my hand test, so as long as it fits my hand test, I'm Gucci, because my hand is way, way, way bigger than my wrist, or basically any other part of my arm, honestly, like if I'm being real. Yeah, so my head is the biggest thing on my arm. And yeah, and when I put this on a hanger, it like really flattens out the collar. But then when I like take it off the hanger, it like scrunches up a lot. So yeah. And then I also realized that I did the pickup a little wonky. So one side is like has more fabric in the back than the other side. But yeah, that's my first time with this kind of construction. And my favorite things knitwear just released a cardigan with this construction, and I don't know, there's something about this construction on a cardigan that I really dislike. And even on a larger, more oversized sweater, I think it looks a little weird to me. But on this, it's like barely noticeable for some reason. Maybe because the pickup is not as obvious or something. I don't know. Or maybe this section is not as big as on those other sweaters. That's probably why it doesn't look too glaring on this one. Because it's more of a fitted sweater. But yeah, it should relax after blocking. But yeah, I really have to put this through the wringer because the main color has a ton of spinning oil in it, so gotta wash it thoroughly. And as for how much yarn I used for the contrast color, because I had double, I had to use 2 balls, but I still have basically 1 ball left. So it's like, or maybe 1.5. I don't know. I just have so much left over. But I thought it would take most of it, but no, it didn't. It's just about half on each ball. So, and it's supposed to, or when I signed up, it was like 210 meters, but I used definitely way less than that. So yeah, or 210 meters on 1 ball, but yeah, this is like so much more left over. I probably used like 150 meters on each ball, but that would just be 150 for like a DK weight yarn or sport weight yarn, because these are so thin, so it's basically a sport weight when you hold them double. And same for the JC Rennie yarn. This is how much I had left, and I had to wind up like 3.5 cakes, so that's like maybe 300 grams of yarn. So yeah, and this is just for one of the sleeves, so yeah. Pretty happy with this. So yeah, I have to take FO photos today as well, even though I didn't block it, but it should be okay, honestly. I don't really think it's gonna stretch out that much. I think it's just gonna lay flatter, that's all. And then, so I have 2 FOs, 1 acquisition, and then 1 whip. Because this is the only one that I worked on that wasn't the Kerr sweater. So, yeah. So this is the sycamore sweater, and last time I think only had like this much on the sleeve. So just yesterday I worked all this. Just from here to here. So I'm on the cuff, or the ribbing, and I had to start it early because my ribbing on the body is fucking huge. It's literally so huge. And yeah, because of that, I have to start the ribbing on the sleeve early so that I have the same amount of ribbing on the sleeve and on the body. That's just me being super particular about it. And yeah, I don't know. And I ended up doing all the decreases as stated in the pattern because it passes my hand test. Okay, it passes my hand test. When it's not like super stretched out, so it's fine. So I have the right amount of stitches in the end for this, and yeah, I would have had more space between the last decrease and the cuff, but you know, as previously stated, I wanted the ribbing to be the same, and it's the same in the pattern, so I feel like I should keep it the same for the, you know. Does that make any sense? I have no idea. But when I tried this on, I did notice that it sat quite high on me, like the shoulder part. It sat quite high. I think it was supposed to go like much lower. But that's like my bad because I totally forgot. If when you go down, like stitches, or when you have more stitches per 10 centimeters, it like shrinks everything, and I totally forgot to add more what's it called, like increases for this saddle shoulder part. Like it's like a saddle shoulder raglan kind of, but I'm not redoing that, so I'll just have to deal with the funky way it looks, I guess. Yeah, still undecided on the cup ribbing. No, the collar, still not how I like it, but when you stretch it out a little bit, it looks fine. So assuming blocking goes well, it'll look fine. But yeah, I think I'm gonna keep all the what's this called, all the stitch markers to so I know like how many decreased rounds there are. Spoiler alert, there's like 7, so yeah, so I could do this side. But yeah, you do have to count how many rows there are for your sweater so that you can match it, because that's how they do it. But I don't know if it's sitting right. Like, is it sitting well? I don't know. I mean, it looks fine when it's like this, but then when you wear it, it's gonna look a little different. So I don't know. And I know one side will have like less stitches than the other side, so I just counted until the what is it called? I used the side that has more stitches per color for the arm, for the sleeve. So for example, if there's like 5 stitches here on one side, but there's 4 stitches on the other side, I would do 5 rows. Or if like this part, if one part has 10 and then the other part has 11 rows, then I would just do the 11 rows and not the 10 rows. Like, you know what I mean? Do the maximum amount of rows so that it'll line up. And it's better to have more color, I guess. I don't know. More rows than too short, because if it's too short, then it'll like misalign things. But if it's bigger, then there's more room, more wiggle room for the sleeve to match up with the body. Does that make sense? Because if you knit tighter on the sleeve, then your row gauge will shorten a little bit. So yeah, I think that's the right, and not the right, but it's like more similar. Is that, no, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But that's what I did for the sycamore sweater, and I just need to finish the ribbing and then do the second sleeve. I mean, I think for all my sweaters, I'm basically on Sleeve Island for like all of them. I mean, I was on Sleeve Island with the kerr, and for sycamore sweater, I've been on Sleeve Island for like forever. And then I haven't even started the sleeves on the Ingrid sweater, which is my cousin's present. But my aim is for Christmas, to be done before Christmas, so I can give it to her before the end of the year, and so that I don't have to think about it anymore. I mean, the Ingrid sweater is very fun to make, for sure. So, yeah. So I feel like once I pick that up and pick up the stitches, it'll be done pretty fast. But I don't have any more deadlines, I think, so yeah, we Gucci. You know, no more deadlines, we love that. And so I'll go to my acquisitions now. This is the Lavender Fiber Company's yarns. I put in the order at the end of November. No, that's not right. At the end of October, beginning of November. That, you know, the in-between. They usually have an update right now. I think, is today the 28th? No, it's 25th. They started, so it should be open now. And Typical Bliss also has her shop open, so you can grab whatever you want. I think for Typical Bliss, Tiffany has a like 10% off for Black Friday for if you order 6 or more skeins of the same colorway. I think that's what she put in. It's on her Instagram story, so I think maybe she put it on her Instagram story highlights. I don't know if she did. But it's on her Instagram story today, at least. If anything, you could just ask her, send her a DM and be like, what does the Black Friday discount code go for? Yeah. But yeah, Lavender Fiber Company. I ordered 3 nimbus, 1 nuri, and 1 vintage floral, and I'll take them out so that I can show you. Even though I kind of don't want to take them out. No, I think. Is it heat packed? Oh, I think it is heat packed. So that what do you call it? The plastic is melted here, so I can't take it out until I want to use it, but I don't want to use it now, so we're just gonna have to deal with this. Like, I don't even remember like what sock base I use. So this is vintage floral in the dreamy sock base, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. It's like 435 yards, which I'm gonna assume it's like 400 meters or 410 meters, probably 400. And then this vintage floral, this is nuri in the dreamy sock base as well. So it's the same base, so I can use them as sock yarn for the 52 weeks of socks. And I'm kind of thinking that the nudie colorway would be good for the Kaisla colorway, or Kaisla sock. And then this one, I think, I don't know. Still undecided on this one. I don't want to use porch light. I don't know. Still thinking about it. But it would be nice for lotte, or lotte, I don't know. L-O-T-T-E. I really like that one. So yeah, still thinking about it. So I have 400 meters and 400 meters. So it'll make one sock set, or 2 pairs of socks, I think. And this is Nimbus, and I ordered 3 skeins because in their soft mohair base. So it's 72% kid mohair, 28% silk, and it's 459 yards. So that's about 420 meters, I think. So they come in 50 grams, and this is 100 grams. So yeah, and I used it. I bought sweater quantity. So it's about 1,200 meters ish, or a little over. So I can use it in a smaller sweater, or more of a plain sweater kind of deal, because a lot of the sweaters I usually make uses around 1,200 to 1,600 meters for a size X small, and I'm like, how do people make like a size medium with the same amount of yarn? Like, I don't understand. I use so much yarn, it's ridiculous for a sweater. So yeah. I kind of wish I bought one more just to be on the safe side, but you know, gotta live dangerously sometimes. So there's one thing about Nimbus that I'm like, when it came in, it's like much brighter than the photos online. So I'm like, I don't know about this. It's like so much brighter. And that was not what I was expecting. Because when I ordered Nimbus, I ordered it because I saw a photo on Lavender Fiber Company's Instagram that was like super soft, like really soft. But yeah, this is not what I was expecting. It's like much brighter and much punchier colors. But it is still technically a pastel. And I think it leans, the white parts leans more yellow. So if I pair it with the white like fingering weight or worsted weight yarn, then it'll really tone down the colors. So I'm not mad about that, but it was just not what I was expecting. I was expecting much softer colors. I think when you wash it, some of the color will come out anyways, so I don't know. Maybe it'll be okay. But I do like how colorful it is, even though I'm not that into variegated. But I couldn't pass these out. These are just so soft, so subtle, and so just ready to doorbell. So I think I'll end it here. See you guys next week. So see ya. Bye.